Hi, welcome to Movies Moment. Today we are going to explain a movie called The Invitation. Spoilers ahead. Subscribe if you like this and catch us on the next one. Take care.
Will, accompanied by his girlfriend Kira, navigates the winding roads of the Hollywood Hills en route to a dinner party invitation at his former residence, now inhabited by his ex-wife Eden, Tammy Blanchard. During their drive, Kira reveals that Eden found her new husband during a period of grief counseling prior to their divorce. Unexpectedly, a coyote darts in front of Will's car, resulting in a collision. Confronted with the injured animal's suffering, Will reluctantly ends its pain with a tire iron. Arriving at the secluded home nestled in the canyons of Los Angeles, Will and Kira step into a scene filled with memories. In a fleeting moment, Will is transported back, recalling a young boy coloring in the living room. Warm greetings welcome them from old friends Tommy and his partner, Miguel, alongside Gina, who mentions her tardy boyfriend, Choi. Amongst familiar faces are former acquaintances Claire and Ben. Eden and her spouse, David, approach Will, initiating a bittersweet reunion. David hints at an impending celebration, setting the tone for the evening. Tommy encourages Will to sample the exquisite wine, emphasizing its rarity. Amidst the clinking of glasses, Will's attention is drawn to a half-clad figure observing him from a nearby room, Sadie, who promptly emerges and joins the introductions. Eden shares the tale of their encounter in Mexico. As conversations flow, Kira recounts the incident with the coyote, prompting David's stern reminder that Will's actions were an act of mercy. As Will slips into the kitchen for a moment of solitude, memories flood back. A haunting recollection of Eden's anguish, her desperate struggle with a knife at the same sink. His reverie is interrupted by Eden's presence in the room. Curiosity piqued, he questions the purpose of the window bars, to which she responds with a tale of past vulnerability and the need for security during solitary days. Eden revisits her experiences in Mexico, emphasizing her newfound liberation from pain. Their conversation is abruptly halted by Ben's intrusion. Eden shares her perspective on grief and pain as mere chemical reactions, subject to change and expulsion from the body. Ben's teasing elicits a momentary attempt at levity from Eden, but his skepticism provokes a sharp response, her hand connecting firmly with his cheek before she exits the room. Alone again, Ben turns his attention to Will, acknowledging the weight of his recent trials. Will's demeanor betrays a lingering sense of brokenness and sorrow. Emerging from the kitchen, Eden extends an apology to Ben, offering him a drink, a gesture he accepts without hesitation. Meanwhile, Claire draws Will into conversation, the reunion marked by years of separation. A newcomer, Pruitt, makes his entrance, greeted warmly by Sadie, Eden, and David. Gina vents her frustration about Choi's tardiness, lamenting the lack of cell service in the hillside retreat. As the evening progresses, David's actions draw attention. Locking the group inside, he notices Will's scrutiny and offers an explanation rooted in recent security concerns following a nearby home invasion. Will suggests leaving the key in the door for emergencies, a suggestion David complies with. Eden then tasks Will with gathering more firewood, prompting him to step outside into the crisp night air. Will hesitates near a bedroom door, his mind momentarily drifting to memories of children's laughter at a birthday celebration. Resolving to the task at hand, he ventures into the backyard to gather firewood, yet a glimpse through a window draws his attention back indoors. Observing Eden slipping into her bedroom and hastily stashing something away, Will's curiosity is piqued. Upon his return with the firewood, he seizes a clandestine opportunity, slipping into Eden's room unnoticed. Within, he discovers an unlabeled bottle of pills concealed in a nightstand and quietly pockets a few. His gaze drifts towards the master bathroom, triggering a vivid recollection of intimate moments shared with Eden, their young son innocently interrupting to bid them goodnight. In the living room, chatter fills the air as discussions about Eden, David, Sadie, and Pruitt's involvement in a group known as The Invitation, labeled by some as a cult, unfold. Despite the lighthearted teasing from others, David sheds light on the group's true purpose, a gathering of individuals seeking solace and support amidst grief, now boasting thousands of members worldwide. As curiosity mounts, David proposes showcasing a recruitment video, offering a glimpse into the group's ethos. The video, hosted by a charismatic leader, extols the brain's innate capacity for healing and his mission to rewire traumatic experiences. promising solidarity and transcendence. The footage takes a disturbing turn, depicting a woman surrounded by group members as she chooses to end her life. The unsettling scene leaves non-members visibly shaken, prompting Eden to offer clarification that the woman was terminally ill and consented to her death being filmed to dispel fear. David shares his own journey of battling grief with cocaine before finding solace within the invitation, while Eden expresses a newfound sense of happiness amidst her past anguish. The doorbell rings, prompting Pruitt and David to answer and engage with some unseen neighbors. Meanwhile, Gina approaches Will, apologizing for her distance over the years. She explains that she wanted to give him space to cope with his grief. However, Will's attention is drawn to David at the door. David reassures him that it was merely some neighbors inquiring about a different party. Will shows the pills he took from Eden's bedroom to Miguel, who is a doctor. Miguel identifies them as barbiturates, noting they are only dangerous in large doses. The group is offered more wine, and they all toast. Will confides in Tommy and Miguel about feeling that the night is strange, but Tommy dismisses it as a friendly, harmless reunion. To make amends for the unsettling video, David suggests playing a game he learned from the invitation called I Want, where everyone shares their desires. Sadie starts by expressing her love for everyone, naming each person. She mentions that many people hide their fear, but she loves them regardless. She then passionately kisses Gina on the lips. Gina, in turn, says she wants some of the cocaine David used to use. David actually has some and offers it to her, though Gina initially jokes about it. David insists she wasn't joking, which is the point of the game, and she accepts the offer. Pruitt then shares his desire to talk about his late wife, Margaret. He recounts how she died after a fight, during which he assaulted her, causing her to fall and fatally hit her head. Pruitt served jail time for his actions, but found no peace until joining the invitation, which helped him become a better person. He expresses his hope to reunite with Margaret one day. Claire feels uneasy, sensing they're being sold on the invitation. Sadie interrupts to say, I want to kiss Ben. Ben plays along with a peck, but Sadie kisses him passionately. Tommy jokes that he wants a blowjob. Claire, uncomfortable, announces she wants to leave. David tries to persuade her to stay, but Will insist she should be allowed to go if she wants. Claire says her goodbyes, but Pruitt mentions he parked in front of her and needs to move his car. They walk out together, and Will watches them suspiciously from the window. Pruitt moves his car to let Claire out, and Will relaxes a bit, but then he sees Pruitt stop Claire as she's about to drive away. David distracts Will, asking to speak with him alone. David questions why Will is so suspicious, noting Will's distance and concern over things like locking the door and Pruitt moving his car. Will apologizes, admitting he might not have been ready to return to the home he once shared with Eden and their son. During dinner, Will is mentally distracted, flashing back to a birthday party where his son was tragically killed in an accident. Will steps outside to clear his head and tries to get a signal on his phone to find out why Choi hasn't arrived yet. When he goes back inside, he sees Sadie making grotesque faces in the mirror. He heads back to the backyard, and Sadie follows. She starts hitting on him, suggesting that things aren't going well with Kira and that he could have sex with her right there. She talks about not denying themselves pleasure and describes how, in Mexico, people would often have spontaneous sex. She boasts that she can make him like her so much he'd beg without her even touching him. Will rejects her advances and tells her to go back inside. Tommy joins Will in the backyard. Will expresses his concerns about the party, but Tommy dismisses them, saying Claire left because she's sexually awkward and that Choi's absence isn't surprising since he's unreliable. Tommy warns Will that his strange behavior is unsettling people. They hug, and Tommy goes back inside. Will's phone briefly gets a signal, and he listens to a voicemail from Choi, who says he arrived at the party early but forgot the dessert he promised. Choi asks Will to pick it up so he doesn't have to go back down the canyon. Will joins everyone at the dinner table. The lights go out, and Eden enters with a birthday cake for Miguel, even though his birthday is a week away. When the lights come back on, Will immediately asks where Choi is, mentioning the message he received saying Choi was right outside. Eden and David insist Choi never arrived, and everyone tries to calm Will down. Frustrated, Will accuses the others of being too polite and demands to know where Choi is. He questions why they were invited after a 2-year absence and why 2 strangers from the cult are present. He criticizes the invitation, calling it a brainwashing tactic that teaches people to erase their grief by denying everything. Will pleads with Eden to tell him where Choi is and confronts David about the bars on the windows and the locked doors. He also reveals he found a large bottle of pills in Eden's room. Kira tries to persuade Will to leave with her, but just then, the doorbell rings. Choi arrives, explaining he had to turn around after getting a call from work. Everyone looks at Will as if he's lost his mind. Tearfully, Will apologizes to Kira for his outburst and for questioning the invitation. Will goes to the bathroom to wash his face and has a flashback to teaching his son how to wash his hands. He then heads to the backyard, where Kira finds him. He admits that he is not okay and is still struggling with the pain of his son's death. He tells Kira he doesn't think she can help him, which upsets her, and she goes back inside. When Will goes back inside, he sees Eden cutting the cake. He asks to see their son's bedroom. Walking through the house, he has a flashback to his son sleeping in the room. Through the window, he notices David in the backyard lighting a red lantern. Will retrieves the laptop with the recruitment video. He watches more of the video where the leader encourages members to not be afraid, promising a reward if they believe and give themselves over. As the leader expresses love to the viewers, Pruitt knocks on the door, telling Will everyone is waiting for him. Upstairs, everyone has been poured another glass of wine. The members of the invitation seem elated. David suggests they take a moment to look at each other, then raise their glasses in a toast to a better world and peace. Gina drinks her wine immediately. Will smashes the glasses out of everyone's hands, warning them not to drink. He tells Kira they need to leave. Sadie goes berserk, accusing Will of ruining everything. She charges at him, and he pushes her away, causing her to hit her head on a dresser. Everyone gathers around, fearing she might be dead, similar to Pruitt's story about his wife. As they try to revive Sadie, Kira points out that Gina isn't breathing and is foaming at the mouth. Miguel tries to revive Gina with CPR, but David shoots him. Pruitt takes the gun from David while Kira, Ben, and Will back away. Pruitt then shoots Choi dead and moves to another part of the house. The three non-members try to escape, grabbing Tommy, who is furious about Miguel's death. In his rage, Tommy charges at Eden, who slashes him with a knife. Kira and Will separate from Ben and are charged by Sadie. Will shoves her away, and they barricade themselves in a room, but the windows are barred. They see David in the backyard stabbing Ben, with Pruitt joining to shoot Ben dead. Will tries to calm Kira, insisting they will survive by doing whatever it takes because they are dealing with humans. They step back into the house and spy on David calming Eden, who is distressed by the murders resulting from the poisoning. David reassures her that they were chosen and that this is how they can leave the earth and their pain behind. Once David and Eden leave, Kira and Will head upstairs to an exit leading to the garage. They find Sadie dying on the couch, having impaled herself with a fireplace poker. Will quietly takes the poker from her lap. Upstairs, Will discovers the door to the garage has been removed. Pruitt arrives with a gun, but Will knocks it out of his hand. They struggle, and Kira attacks Pruitt with the fireplace poker, eventually killing him. They run into Eden in the hall, who shoots Will in the shoulder. Eden then apologizes and shoots herself in the stomach. Kira grabs the gun. David is now the only cult member left alive, brandishing a butcher knife and calling for Eden. Will informs him that Eden shot herself, to which David responds with relief, saying she's now with them. Kira realizes the gun is empty. Will warns David to stay back, pretending they still have bullets, but David is unafraid, believing it's his time to die. Tommy, having survived his stabbing, tackles David to the ground and stabs him in the stomach, killing him. Nearby, Eden is still alive but gravely wounded. Through tears, she tells Will she misses their son and asks him to take her outside to die. Will carries her out, and with Kira and Tommy, they watch as Eden takes her last breaths. The distant sounds of sirens, barking dogs, faint screams, and helicopters fill the air. Tommy goes back inside to retrieve Miguel's body, while Kira and Will move to the side of the hill. They see the hillside lit up with red lanterns, realizing their ordeal was not isolated. Thousands of cult members were carrying out the same plan that night.